It's 10 o'clock at night in Antarctica. The Australians who work here at Casey Station are winding down from a long day. They're handing over their jobs to the new people coming in. But one of the safety training officers, Hans Molnar, can't bear to see anyone sitting still.
You think I need field training, Hans?
Oh, no, but it would be interesting for you to experience what the expeditioners have to do.
What sort of things?
Abseiling?
I've never abseiled in my life, Hans.
Well, it's the first time for everyone.
Hans is a very persuasive man. Well, it all seemed a good idea last night. Now, I'm not so sure.
Now, if you press on here, it moves. If you let go, it stops.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
So what I want you to do is have your legs slightly apart, bend your knees, right? And sort of use that like the suspension of a car. So you adjust yourself to the terrain.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And then as you step over, you lean into the rope, you feel that there's more pressure on your heels.
Yeah.
And as you get plenty pressure on your heels, you start to let the rope slip through. Easy. All right?
All right, well...
Just nicely balance yourself and we step slowly back.
I used to think I wanted to go abseiling, but right now I'm in the grip of stark terror.
Nice and easy, nice steps.
It's a 15-metre drop to the rock-hard ice below.
Is it all right to stop here for a sec? I just want to savour the moment. What an absolutely gorgeous blue. What a fantastic experience. Okay to go down?
Round-trippers like me don't usually do this.
Thank you, Hans. Fantastic.
Field training is compulsory for all expeditioners. They have to learn basic survival skills like how to get people out of crevasses.
So that's one side of a crevasse.
Yeah, and when people fall in, someone has to get them out. Usually they are injured.
Yeah.
And all expeditioners are being trained to abseil down into a crevasse or over kind of a cliff like this. And hopefully you'll never have to do it, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Oh, well.
Believe it or not, I'm really here to write the history of Australians in Antarctica. But this is a bonus, one of the great moments of my life. We're in the Australian Antarctic Territory on the coast of Wilkes Land. The Aurora Australis is 140 kilometres offshore. New expeditioners are flying in from the ship to Casey Station for the annual changeover. They'll be taking over from the old hands who've spent the last year here. For me, it's the second day in Antarctica, and I'm already getting acclimatised to station life. Everyone wears ventiles, windproofs made from thick cotton. Nothing needs to be waterproofed. Rain isn't a problem down here. But it's always a relief to be inside. Every building has a cold porch. It's where you hurl yourself into the usual bout of clothes wrestling before going further into the heated part of the building. Wearing these boots inside would be a serious breach of Antarctic protocol. The Meteorological Centre here is Australia's biggest Antarctic weather station.
Hi, Neil. It is a touch chilly up there.
It's only minus 15, it's pretty mild.
Neil Adams is a senior forecaster.
How important to Australia is what happens down here with the weather?
Oh, very important. The weather around Antarctica does have quite a marked influence on Australia. These lows that are spawned in the Southern Ocean, generated with the help of the cold air outflow of Antarctica, produce a lot of the fronts that pass up over the southern parts of Australia.
The Antarctic ice cap is an engine room of the world's weather. You can see the great cyclonic depressions sweeping continually around the bottom of the globe.
They're quite different to the tropical cyclones, but they're just as intense. As I said, we've had 100-knot winds out of them down here at Casey. So yeah, they are very powerful systems.
Do you rely on the spinal cord much in all this?
Oh, the gut feelings are, yeah, they play a part. Yeah, they have to. We're sometimes a bit short of data and you really just have to go on the feelings and a little bit of local knowledge, yes.
Satellites give the global picture, but they also have to forecast the local weather here. Three times a day without fail, weather observers like Adrian Porter launch the balloon. Well, I guess it's not always as calm as this.
No, this is an ideal launch day today. Yesterday we had very strong winds and you had to run out here and really throw it away.
These elegant outfits are anti-flash suits. The balloon is full of hydrogen and there's a danger it might go up first in a ball of fire.
There's a humidity element.
It carries a radio transmitter to send back weather data.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, there she goes.
Yep. Okay.
And how far up will she actually go?
About 23 kilometres up, which is a long way.
And then?
And then as it goes up, it gradually expands and just explodes. And then the fragments slowly fall back down.
So there's a few radiosondes out there?
Yes. all over the countryside. But yeah, we've collected our data by then, so we're happy with the situation.
Australians have been launching weather balloons in Antarctica since the 1950s. It's a sobering thought to calculate there must be at least 40,000 radiosondes scattered around this beautiful continent, launched from Casey alone. The weather in Antarctica is treacherous. Sudden blizzards can be fatal. Wind chill is the killer here. It can drop the temperature 30 degrees in seconds. Even the professionals can get caught out. Earlier this year, Adrian was out skiing when the weather changed. He had nearly made it back to the station when a blizzard caught him.
Well, it's actually just out here where it was. It was down near those canes down there, and I had to get across to the station over there.
So what went wrong?
It was a basic error on my judgment that went wrong. I probably just didn't know when to stop when I should have.
Adrian was in big trouble. The wind chill was minus 50 degrees. He wasn't wearing his windproof clothing and he was disoriented by blizzard and whiteout.
Well, what happens is that you've got heavy driving snow at you, it accumulates on you, it forms ice around your eyes, it burns against your skin. Even though I had gloves on, I had my wristlets on, but they were still caked in driving snow. So you end up being like a block of ice with the wind burning past you. It's cooling you. And as it's cooling you, you're starting to go off. What the term to go off means everything is starting to close down.
Adrian's legs and arms became numb as his body tried to sustain its core temperature. But time was running out. Miraculously, he stumbled across this field caravan.
It's a bit hard to get into.
He was out of the blizzard, but he wasn't out of danger.
My troubles were just beginning because I had full block of ice all over me, and as my body was melting that, I was cooling down very rapidly. Inside here, it was still only just above ambient temperature outside, so I'm still not out of the woods. I'm out of the wind, which is very good, but I'm still not safe. And one of the things I did spot was this gas welder, which I clamped in the vise here, which gave me minimal amount of heat. It was very hot, so I couldn't get near it. I looked around for something that I could get some convection heat going off it, but all I had was this flame going in front of me. and about 20 minutes later the oxygen gave out, so I was down a pure acetylene, which wasn't healthy being in an enclosed environment, and plus I was getting very black, and about another 20 minutes later the acetylene gave out.
By now, other people were out in the blizzard, risking their lives looking for him. As the storm raged, Adrian tried to make his way back, stumbling from one caravan to the next. Back at the station, they thought he was dead. They were staggered when he burst in the door.
A few people walked in and said, "You bloody idiot," and "You bastard, you've put us in danger." And as a balance to that, others came up and gave me hugs and really warmth to say, "Hey, welcome back. We really missed you." And to me that was balanced out, and it was a great feeling.
By breaking the rules and endangering others, Adrian had divided the community. The trauma of this whole affair affected everyone at the station and took months to resolve. I've been at Casey now for 3 days, and at last there's a chance to go off on a jolly. That's the local slang for a trip off station. Dave Mellick's doing the driving. He's a biologist who spent the past year here. We're in a Hägglunds, the standard transport around these parts. It'll go anywhere, over snow, ice and rocks. It'll even float. But it's rather like riding inside a pneumatic drill. At least it's a heated one. We're heading for Wilkes Station. It's an abandoned ruin just a few kilometres to the east of Casey. Wilkes is actually a fascinating time capsule frozen in the ice. It was the first settlement in this area back in 1957, and as a historian, I can't wait to see it.
Well, Tim, welcome to Wilkes Hilton.
Dave tells me this is the only building on the site that isn't iced up.
Signs of habitation.
It's still used by the Casey people as a weekender. Looks like it's the cleaner's day off.
Dave, do you reckon that this would be the only habitable building left of this historic rubbish dump?
Well, it depends on your definition of habitable. It's the only one I'd stay in, yeah. No, it's good over here.
She's been patched together with all kinds of bits and pieces, I think.
Well, if you want some atmosphere, I mean, this is a bit of a classic over here. Miro wanted to burn these year because he didn't understand the historic value, but...
Australasian Post, January the 24th, 1957.
Yeah. No, they're rippers, eh?
Well, that was about the year that the place was built.
Wilkes was built by the Americans in just 17 days. They only used it for 2 years and then handed it over to Australia in 1959. The Americans had built the station in a hollow. It was a big mistake. Drift, snow and ice built up around the huts to roof level by the end of the first year. 10 years after moving in, the Australians got tired of shovelling snow and abandoned Wilkes. They left the whole station behind, buried in the ice. I think I'm walking on a rooftop here. I've absolutely no idea what's underneath. I could crash through into history at any second. Because of their age, the buildings actually have some heritage value, but not everything here is worth keeping.
In fact, there are thousands of tons of junk left here by the Americans and the Australians from 1957 on. And if you sort of scratch around amongst the packing cases here, you can pick up little things. I think that's a rusty can of sardines. Well, I have absolutely no desire to take this away, so I'm just going to put it right back where I found it.
The policy now is to return all rubbish to Australia. But there's a debate growing between heritage and environment groups over whether it's trash or historical treasure. I'd call it trash, but the issue is far from being resolved. I also have a personal reason for being here. During my research into Wilkes Station, I came across an audio tape. It was a diary made by Hartley Robinson, the station's diesel mechanic, in 1959. He was killed in a freak accident at Wilkes, shortly after recording this tape for his family.
We're all starting to look forward to the end of the year now and going back again. Anyway, I mean, that's a long way ahead yet. And of course, as the sun starts to come back now, we'll be able to get onto more work because there is a vast amount of work to be done. Anyway, that's the position for now, so we'll be seeing you again in the near future.
Hartley was run over by his own bulldozer. His family didn't know the tape existed until I sent it to them just a year ago. His daughters have asked me to visit their father's grave. It's on a hill overlooking the station. "19 other Australians have died in Antarctic service during the last 50 years. One of them is buried beside Hartley. In 1968, Red Sullivan was killed nearby on an ice drilling expedition. The families of these men will never be able to come here. But it's a stunningly beautiful place to be buried. Casey is well placed to observe the southern lights, the Aurora Australis, during the dark months of winter. Upper atmosphere research goes on all year. It's one of the biggest scientific projects here. Physicist Miro Dubovinsky has been conducting high atmospheric experiments throughout the winter. Miro is originally from Czechoslovakia and is handing over to Frenchman Didier Montcelisson, who's also an experienced Inari scientist.
How was the year? It was good. I mean, you see, we had to change a few parameters to get a higher resolution.
These two men have the unusual distinction of becoming naturalised Australians in Antarctica. They've both wintered here before.
I think Antarctic changed everybody. Probably the challenge is to spend a year with 20 other people. This is probably nothing to do with the cold, with the climate. 20 other people, it's the challenge.
Well, what sort of things can be irritating?
A difference in hobbies, what people eat, how they eat, what they drink after dinner, what they drink after lunch. Coffee, tea, where they drink it, in the wallow, in the mess.
Everyone seems to be on their best behaviour tonight, but there are plenty of midwinter stories of near-death confrontations over how someone held their fork at dinner. This isn't a normal meal. It's the last night of the changeover. The incoming station leader, Peter Mellick, is following the tradition of serving the outgoing expeditioners.
Thank you very much, sir. It's my pleasure, madam. Goodbye.
They've saved some bottled wine for this special occasion. For Wing Commander Angie Rhodes and her 18 winterers, there's a real sadness behind the celebration.
How much? All right, thank you.
Everyone at this table will leave Antarctica tomorrow.
You haven't listened to any others. Why change now?
This is Angie's last day as station leader.
You know, I've certainly had a good year, and I'm sorry to be leaving. I'm also sorry to be leaving, I consider, early. I mean, I won't have actually completed a full 12 months on station, and that's a little bit disappointing in some regards. But, oh no, I'm sure I'm leaving it in capable hands.
It's my 4th day here. The last chopper leaves for the ship in an hour. But there's been an extraordinary find out on the sea ice. It's something I can't miss, and we're going to investigate. We are looking at penguin poo. It marks a big rookery down there on the sea ice, only 50 kilometres offshore from Casey. No one has ever been here before. These are emperor penguins and their chicks. The rookery is a major discovery in this area of the Australian Antarctic Territory. Dave Mellick is as excited as a biologist can be.
This thing we've been trying to nail for several years. We've sort of suspected it's out here. It made sense it was going to be here. But I must say, I thought we might find a couple of hundred birds, maybe a couple of hundred chicks if we were very lucky. To find a couple of thousand is beyond my expectations.
Emperors grow to big birds, about 1 metre high. They're the only penguins to breed on sea ice. They always choose areas like this, where the frozen sea is held in place by grounded icebergs. At this stage, the chicks are nearly adult. Both parents are making journeys to the sea about 26 kilometres away to feed them. The birds aren't at all fussed by our being here. They've never seen humans before.
The fact that we only found this penguin rookery yesterday, and we've been down here for so long, to me this is what science in Antarctica is all about, coming out here and finding literally new things. It's one of the very few places on Earth where we can still do this, and it makes me just so anxious to be able to get out there and grab a chopper or a ship and survey the rest of the coast along. You just don't know what you're going to find.
It's an enormous privilege to spend my last few hours here with these amazing birds. We've got back to Casey with just minutes to refuel before we leave for the ship. This is it, the last flight in or out of Casey. They'll be on their own now until the next ship arrives.
Thank you for everything.
No worries.
Okay.
Now get on the hopper and get out of here.
All right.
It's the final moment of the changeover. The new people are in for the coming year. Pete Mellick is about to take over as station leader. I can imagine what's running through Angie's mind. The pain of leaving is obvious. Pete and I had shared a cabin on the way down, and I'd got to know him really well. We'd become good friends. It's a great relief to see that welcome red speck in the pack ice. The Aurora Australis has been waiting out here for the last 4 days. Almost before our skids touch the deck, the ship is underway again. It feels like coming home. With Pete gone, I've got a bit more room now to spread out for the rest of the voyage. We're heading west. We've got 6 days sailing ahead through the pack ice. This stage of our journey takes us to Davis Station, a place they call the Riviera of the South. It certainly doesn't sound like Antarctica, but we'll soon see.